The market's in an itsy-bitsy little gully right now. It's like everybody said, okay, that was crazy, let's just all calm down. I sold that house for $350 the year it was built. 2 years later, $480. Then $585 maybe 18 months ago. This couple bought it for $650 last year. He'd let it go for that. Hi, John.
Orlean, you'd say they're motivated, right?
As motivated as one can be in this neighborhood. This house on the left, I'd say they're probably motivated.
Wow, a lot of people seem very motivated.
Oh, it's just the gully. That's all. Just nerves.
Well,
Here we are.
here we are. First episode
Episode 1, Season 1.
of
Toast.
On the Coast. Welcome to Toast on the Coast, guys. This is a Florida-based podcast that talks about all the things that are happening in the state of Florida, from the market updates in the real estate industry to cool happenings and things that are happening around the state, new political documents and things that have been passed and new laws and things that are making this state so great, in addition to new developments, new projects, everything that's based around real estate.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's our cup of tea. I mean, we've been doing it for quite some time. I got about almost 19 years in. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. How long have you been in it?
20 this year.
Yeah. He was my mentor. You're
I was?
Yeah, you're Mr. Miyagi and I was Daniel's son.
I don't know, man. I learned a lot from you, too. We've been together for a long time. Unofficial partners for 24 years, I think, right?
Yeah. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
All right. So, is there anything going on in life, man? I see you drinking a nice little diet. You can see me and John are a little bit different. I'm on the Red Bull and John's on an Arizona.
I'm doing the Arnold Palmers. I don't know what happened. I guess I don't get on the golf course as much as I used to, so I feel like I'm playing golf when I drink.
Yeah. It's good that we're not similar, because I always look at it, we're less of value if we're helping each other or around each other. It's like if we have two of the same people, it's like you need somebody else that's a little bit different than you. So,
right. The yin and the yang. Right
yeah,
there.
I think I'm probably, still running the bachelor life and just completely different on the different side of the spectrum. So I look at things different and we're in different positions. You family, home, you have a lot of things. I
got white picket fence.
I
got
have
the
nothing.
2 dogs. I got all the perfect wife, the perfect kids, everything's lining up for me here. So
yeah, I sold my home, as you know, sold all my, everything I own, cars.
So you're single,
Xbox,
homeless,
everything.
Single, homeless, no Xbox.
No pets.
Bachelor, no pets.
No pets, no nothing, yeah.
And I'm tied down with all of the things that every American has, right?
That's good. Dude, we're on literally opposite side of the spectrum. It's good. We'll balance each other
gonna
out.
be good.
You're trying to pull me over there, and I'm trying to maybe pull you over here.
We're always trying to pull each other. But we play in each other's sandbox about 10 or 15%. So we'll talk about that as we go on. But you got enough energy in you, pal, to get through this?
Yeah, I think so, man. I probably smell a little bit like smoke because I was at the Executive Cigar earlier today. So.
Yeah.
So, yeah, with Mike, one of our agents and stuff. Smart guy.
Yeah. Good. Well, I hope you had a good time.
I'm sorry if I smell as well. Getting that.
I don't want to say anything, but I've been there too. So not today though.
So this episode is going to be about buying or renting right now in today's market, where the market currently sits. We're going to be jumping into that shortly here, and we're going to go over that in depth. John's going to have his opinion on it. I'm probably going to have mine. Probably not going to be fully, maybe on some we'll be eye to eye, but as you know, I'm drinking Red Bulls. He's drinking Arizona. We're on the opposite side of the spectrum, man.
I'm interested to hear what you have to say, because this is unrehearsed. So let's.
Yeah, this is on the cusp. Yeah.
Should you buy a home or rent a home in this market?
Before I jump in there, can I share something I think is super interesting?
Yeah.
It's wild, right? So you know how there's Airbnb and there's Vrbo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. And you go on the website and you can actually, apparently, and I'm being sarcastic when I say this, there's a new way to actually get a home, rent a home, get in a home and stay in a home. So not going to go over names. I'm not going to give address or anything. This didn't hit news. I think it probably would have been pretty wild if you were going to share it with you guys. So it'd be the first time you guys are actually seen anything like this. So it happened in Brevard, I guess I'll say, Central Florida, Brevard, kind of close to the Toast on the Coast podcast studio. But I'm going to show some pictures with what happened here. Apparently there was a gentleman that decided he wanted to, get a nice rest in, a little nap or something. He wanted an Airbnb, but he didn't want to go through the process of paying or anything like that. So he saw a house, decided to try to get in the house, right? And the house was locked, apparently. And he probably didn't get through the front door per the pictures. I'm trying to analyze what I'm seeing here on these images that you're going to have on your screen here in a second. But he decided to break the window to get in. And when he went to break the window, he cut himself because glass is sharp. And I don't think he cut himself very lightly. I think it was kind of a deep gash. And so if you don't like blood, please turn this off now or try to fast forward it. But based on these photos, I'm gonna throw it up here. Check this out, guys. This is wild to me. He went to the front door, but he was bleeding, and you can see at the front foyer here, the front porch here, you can see there's blood all over the ground and stuff. And he was probably banging on the door wanting to get in because he didn't probably go through the window instantly. However, there's blood on this post here. It's just like wild to me. He eventually goes back through. It looks like finally goes through the full window and gets through into the house. And what's the bears thing? You've been sleeping in my bed. The old, I forget what that's called, but whatever. The kids, the porridge of the whole deal. Yeah. Well, this gentleman, obviously, he went to the bed. He just wanted to take a nap, it looks like. So he goes in the bed. I don't know if it's a kid's room or whatnot. And dude, it looks like a murder scene. That's wild to me, dude. Cops obviously came, got him out of there. The guy's fine. He's just like, I don't know if he was like, I don't know. What do you make? That's wild to me. He just literally goes in the house and he cuts himself.
Dedicated
blood
to
everywhere.
the nap.
That is nuts to me.
Dedicated to take a nap in somebody else's. That's why you really got to do. You really got to have one of those Ring doorbell cameras. You got to be able to capture this stuff on video. So
I think they did.
Oh, that's how they got this.
Yeah, they got it. So I'm only just sharing some images here and stuff. I don't know. I just thought it was wild. I wanted to share that just because I thought it was crazy. Obviously, a little bit around real estate because that's what somebody did. It wasn't an Airbnb scenario, but it was their own scenario. Yeah.
Did you watch the special about Pamela Anderson?
No, what is Pamela Anderson? Yeah. I know she's not, I shouldn't say this. I know she's still alive, but what are you talking about?
What do you mean she's alive?
Well, I know she's still alive.
She's alive and well.
I've seen her on Twitter, but what happened?
Well endowed.
She doing more film or what?
No, I can't believe you don't know what this is. You're crazy. It's the biggest thing going. Okay, so it's a documentary about
slacking.
Pamela Anderson. Right?
Okay.
So it's like she's telling her story of her life.
Oh, I think I saw that.
Pretty
yeah.
Intriguing, right? So I walk in to the bedroom last night, and everything's ramping down.
Wait,
my wife's got what?
Oh, in your bedroom?
Easy, pal.
Oh,
my wife's got this thing on. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? And it's she's like, oh, it's the Pamela Anderson story. I'm like, well, this is pretty cool.
That's a way to preheat the oven.
I'm not a TV guy, right? So I'm always
I think she was trying to preheat the oven.
Hey, it's possible. I did take a couple screenshots.
I'm talking pizza, by the way, brother. I'm talking pizza. I know you like pizza. She was going to make you pizza. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. I won't interrupt you. Go ahead.
Oh, my God. It's hilarious. Maybe we should call it.
Just tell me.
Pizza on the toast?
What is it?
Pizza on the coast?
Where were you going with this?
Oh, so anyway, so I'm sitting there and, I'm like, I'm not a TV guy. And I'm watching. It's like, oh, my gosh, Pamela Anderson. What the heck? And that's my girl from Baywatch and, all this other stuff. And then it's the whole Playboy Bunny, and then this, and then she's married to Tommy Lee, and all that, and then she was married to Kid Rock, and anyway, all this stuff. You got to watch it.
Yeah,
you just got to watch it. It's one of those things where it's kind of cool because I like the natural deal where they're because all these rumors, and she tells the story of her life,
and she's not gonna lie.
She had a diary and everything, huh?
She's not gonna lie about anything.
I don't know.
You never know.
At the end of the day, I don't care, but it was just interesting because it's one of those people that I grew up with. She was on all the TV shows and everything.
You grew up with this?
Well, she was on Baywatch, man. Come on,
Oh, okay. And then I'm the bad one. My mind's not even close to Baywatch.
So you're talking about Airbnbs and people getting massacred, and I like to talk about the positive stuff.
Yours is better than mine.
I'm
not bringing that up. Oh, that's what it's going to be moving forward. I'll come with some better content. Yeah, there'll be some better content for me.
I'm just kidding. We'll cut that out.
No, it's good. Don't cut this out. Leave it in there. So anyway, so we can go ahead and jump into the whole right now, the way the market is. I don't know if you want to kick off with it. I can kick off with it. It doesn't matter. But if somebody came to you right now and somebody's out there's watching, and obviously everyone's got their own different things, so I think that's where this is going to play. Somebody's looking at life from different angles. If somebody's like, hey, right now, should I buy or should I rent? You're obviously going to probably have some questions for that person when they ask that. So if you want to go ahead, jump on it. Let me know your thoughts on it.
From a real estate standpoint, as a real estate agent, and somebody asked me that question, I'm always a buyer. So I think anytime that you're thinking whether you should buy or rent, you just have to ask the questions to yourself, right? Am I looking for something that's for 5 years, 10 years? Am I here on is the person here on a 2 or 3 year job assignment? What's the situation? So I'm assuming we're talking about homestead right now, like somebody's primary residence. Is that what you're talking about? Or just
I think if you just detach from anything other than the market is right now, it is what it is. Let's say you didn't have to buy.
Right.
and somebody asks you that question, like, hey, I don't have to buy, John,
Right.
but I have some money, some capital. Should I buy real estate right now with it? You know, not money to buy it full cash, because we can obviously argue that point that you can always cash flow that. But let's say they wanted to go get a mortgage and put down 20% on a house. On a $500,000 house, they want to put down 20%, finance $400,000. Rates are probably, what, 6.875 right now, somewhere around there?
They're between 6 and 6.25, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess they came. Oh, I guess maybe they came down a little bit. I think they did.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not in. I dabble in real estate a little bit, so I'm not.
I got you. I got my finger on the pulse.
I do. I got it on there.
I mean, you know, so let's go back to the original question. Should you buy or, I mean, you know, I would say you need to look at the market and say, where am I going to be in the next couple years, right? There's some people out there saying, well, the interest rates are a little higher than they were before. You know, if you're chasing 3 and 4% interest rates, it's just not going to happen, right? I mean, there'll be a time when rates go down again. But right now, if you can afford a mortgage payment for what you're, you know, the mortgage payment for what you can afford to buy, and it makes sense, absolutely you should buy. If you find the location you're looking for, if you see, if you're here and looking, if you're going to raise a family, or you've got a long-term job assignment, or this is your destination that you're going to be here for a while, 5 to 10 years, absolutely. You never, ever pass up an opportunity to find something if you find something that you like to buy. That's my opinion, right? Because there's all these governmental things that we have. I mean, you can write off your interest, you can write off your property taxes, right?
Right.
So some people will say that, maybe it's not the right time to buy. Well, you're getting the deduction.
Yeah.
You're getting the deduction. You know, so I would say your opportunity to buy is greater now than it was 9 months ago, right? Less people or more inventory in the marketplace creates more opportunity.
Right. Absolutely.
Now, where's the market headed, right? That's what a lot of people want to, what's the crystal ball?
Yeah.
6 months, 9 months.
What's your black and white answer right now? Black and white answer, where's it headed?
Black and white answer.
It's not us to control the market. You just have to, you're looking at it.
The market will soften as time goes on.
Okay. I'm with you.
Soften.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's actually softening is a calm word. I think it's catastrophic, but I mean, that's another episode, maybe episode 2.
I don't agree at all.
Okay.
I mean,
that's fine.
If you want to take peaks and where we're at right now, I mean, there's been a 9% correction in the market already. Is it going to go another 9? Who knows?
Right. Florida's last, I think,
right.
on this whole thing. Right now, we can say Austin, Texas is getting slashed bad.
Right.
So I'm paying attention to some of those markets. Besides that, stocks, I'm paying attention to that. We got to pump the brakes, not get too far away from this, but like I'm bullish for 2023, like on stocks and stuff. So I think it's a sucker's rally. So everything might seem all good. Oh, stocks are going up a little bit. The Fed just only did a 25 basis points. We're trying to possibly get to a rate cut, which me and my buddy Brian Troy, Brian in the mortgage industry, we made a bet. We said he's like it's not happening. I'm like, Brian, I think it will happen in 2023. But the news and the Fed all out there says they're not going to cut rates. I think they will cut rates in 2023, and I'm okay with being wrong on this, but I do think they do, and that 25 basis points is kind of telling me that. So as we sit here, I think the market isn't bad as I'm talking right now, but what I'm saying right now is temporary. I think this thing is, go look at the Zillow chart. The way that looks is the way the real estate market will look. That's what I think.
Yeah, but what's the big concern? I mean, the big concern is that you buy a house today for $450, and then what happens?
And then it's worth $300 to $250.
Okay, it's not going to happen. It's never going to happen.
I wouldn't bet against that. No
You're
way.
Wrong. You're wrong.
We'll find out if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
There's no way I'm wrong.
It's never going to happen.
Look, I'm not we can't predict that that's not going to.
You can't have labor at this high rate and material costs and all this stuff. Are things coming down? Are 2x4s less than they were 6 months ago? Yes, but you have to understand something. There's a new standard out there, right? There's a new standard, and the new standard is that income is higher than it's been. It's finally corrected. People are making the money that they deserve, and that's not going to change. People aren't going to go from $35 an hour to $20. People aren't going to go from $20 an hour to $10. It's not going to happen.
Why wouldn't that happen? If there's less jobs and there's a job cut, that can happen.
It's not going to be that extreme.
People might have increased their income, but insurances went up, taxes went up, foods went up, gases went up, everything's went up. Real estate's went up.
Here's a good measure. You're looking at a house, right? $500,000. What does it cost to build that house? If you can buy that house for $500, $550, $560 brand new, right? Don't buy the pre-owned home. Buy the new house.
Right.
When there's a big difference between new construction and resale, that's a you have to look at that because if it costs a lot of money to build a new house, you're going to get the value in buying a pre-owned home, right? Because right now, for example, I looked at a commercial building the other day. It's going to be, by the time you buy the land and build the building, it's $350 a square.
Mm-hmm.
The property's for sale for $240 a square foot. Does it need work? Yeah, but how much work does it need? $20, $30 a square foot? So there's value in these properties. You have to bring out the value in these properties. Where you're going to win is when you buy a property that's not exactly perfect. All the properties that you walk in the door and it smells perfect and looks perfect and it's got the new kitchen, it's got everything, those are the ones you got to be careful of, right? Because you're buying top market. You better be exactly to a T what you want. But understand sometimes there's lipstick on the pig. So, when I talk to people, I say, look for all the mechanicals. Look for the stuff that's not going to cost you a ton of money. Mm-hmm. Roof, AC, plumbing, electric. Look at all that stuff. When you buy a house that has good bones and mechanical items, the other stuff you can do at your leisure, Now, you got to be careful. Sometimes in people's relationships where husband and wife, they argue and the husband wants this and the wife wants this and so there's a compromise that you have to make. But when you're looking for a house, it doesn't matter what market you're in, just make sure that you understand that the mechanicals and the bones of the house are good to last for a long time. Because don't put yourself in a situation where the roof is good for 3 more years and 4 more. I hear this all the time, these realtors, well, the roof's good for 4 more years or 3 more years. What happens in 3 or 4 more years? You got to throw $20,000 at it?
Right.
You might not be able to refinance. And that's the purpose of what I'm trying to say to you is if the market's trending downward,
okay,
don't buy a mortgage that you have to refinance in 2 to 3 years.
You probably won't be able to.
Right.
Because it's going to be upside down.
Right, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't buy a house.
If you're concerned, well, I mean, we were heading towards a conversation about the economy and what I think happens.
Right.
And now we're reeling it back in because that's another episode. We can make that an episode too. Why I feel that it actually is worse than 08, and you feel that that's not happening and it's not going to happen. I feel it is. This is obviously our opinions. We're speculating. We won't know that answer until time goes on, right? But right now, if somebody asks me, "Hey, I'm thinking about buying a house or renting," I'm upfront with every single buyer that I work with today. I tell them everything. I'm not saying you're not, but there's people out there that are watching right now. They're like, "No, Chris is telling me." I've told people like what I feel and what I see in the market and the data, and I don't want to say how I feel. It's what I think based off of data. So anything that I say is coming off of some research, me analyzing data, numbers, trends, stocks, you name it. I'm analyzing all that stuff, right? To give me a decision because I saw what happened in 08 and I sold people houses back then. You want to know what happened to those people? They lost their house.
You know why? There's a difference, man. This
Okay.
is what you're missing.
Okay.
You're selling houses to unqualified people that should never have bought a house to begin with.
That's happening today, John.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, you have to look within inside yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, I've never wanted for income because I've always been able to get up and go to work in the morning, pivot, change positions, change jobs, go after the jobs and the positions and the sales products that will help me earn the income that I need to live the lifestyle that I want to live, right?
I feel that you're the exception.
And you know what, I might be. Mm-hmm. But you have to understand something too. When you're working with a client if you're looking at it from a real estate standpoint, right? Mm-hmm. Somebody's coming to me as a realtor or coming to you or whatever. Be honest with that client. It's not about the market. It's about the market, that client, and the product that they're deciding to purchase. You know what, Beverly? You should not buy that house. Why should you not buy that house? I know it's the location you want. I know you can afford it right now, but it's not the house that you should buy. Mm-hmm. That house has too many, problems. You got things that are gonna, I understand you're in love with it. I understand it's built in 1953 and you love these vintage style houses, but that's not a house that you should be undertaking. If you don't have $150,000 in the bank put aside that you're going to have to forecast all these things that are going to happen later on, that's not for you.
Right.
Buy a smaller house that's newer. Don't buy the house that's in the exact location that you need, maybe on the outskirts, as long as it's a safe neighborhood. There's just so many decisions that you have to make. At the end of the day, cash buyers should never worry about buying a house.
They shouldn't worry, no.
Right? Because as long as you get the return that you want. Rents are going to soften a little bit. The market's going to soften a little bit. We're going through a major insurance problem right now in the state of Florida. So my big thing is right now is just make sure you can afford the insurance and make sure you can afford the maintenance and repairs, because a lot of people get into home ownership and they're not ready for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing that's out there, and you might agree with this, I know we're going to be on the different page sometimes. I hear people saying that renters are throwing money away, and I'm strongly against that at certain points in the market. I'm all about my decision. My comments that I'm making right now, it has to do with where the market's at. So I might be all for renters right now, but if the market was 2011, 2012, I'd tell the renter, hey, no, you should probably buy right now, because I want them to I want them to buy at a bottom and be able to get some equity. Right. And I call it, you're renting from the bank, because I feel that all the interest is packed. I don't say I feel, I know all the interest is packed at the beginning of an amortization schedule. So somebody that has maybe purchased a $500,000 house, let's just say out in Vieira, they can probably either buy that house today, maybe put 20% down, finance $400,000. And you said somewhere in the sixes, depends. Obviously, the rates kind of have fluctuated. But somebody can rent that same house. Not that they have to rent that same house, because they might say, I don't need to rent that house. I want to buy that house, but I don't need to rent that. I can rent something cheaper. But that house is going to probably be somewhere in the $3,000 range, right? So, the renter might be, it looks like they're throwing away $36,000 a year, for the first year, the second year, the third year, right? And if you look at somebody that's purchasing that house and they have a mortgage and have interest and stuff, and not just that, they have taxes, they have insurance, maybe they have the pool guy, they have the bug guy, they have things that they have to carry, and they might have repairs that need to happen too. AC goes or something like that. We can always just analyze that, ballpark that. Insurance, as you know, is up quite a bit. When you break them both down and you crunch them just for 3 years, from right where we sit right now, and you just go 3 years out, I think the renter wins because of the way I see the market. Now, if the market continued to go up, the renter wouldn't really win, the person that purchased. So it becomes, where is the market? What do I see the market doing? And the market's dictating to me based off of supply and demand, stocks, economy, interest rates, everything. Tie it all in together.
Yeah, if you're buying a property because you want to build equity right now, it's not the right time to buy to get equity in the next 36 months.
Right.
You're 100% right. And first of all, there's a basis for everything. So on a $500,000 mortgage at 6%, the first year you're paying $29,800. So $30,000 in interest.
How much is the principal? Couple grand?
6,000.
6,000.
Right.
So just to finish off what I'm saying, my big problem is that you can buy a house at the wrong time at a high point, and I already know people that have done this. And let's say you put down 20%, so that's $100,000 on a $500,000 house. If that market, which is super easy to do, from that peak, which is where I think we were just at, drops 20%. It's already happened in Austin. You are now pretty much throwing away money at interest. I know you can write some of the stuff on taxes. We analyze that. But at the end of the day, your $100,000 based off of that 20% pool, it's gone out of the house. You better make that mortgage payment the next several years and hope that the market maybe corrects or your job's good. That's what I'm getting at. It's a 30-year mortgage, right? And all the interest is packed at the beginning. That's a problem to me. Yeah, but that's a problem.
Okay, going back to the new construction thing, right? I was in a recent transaction where there's a new construction neighborhood that's charging $950 for a house, right? And we were under contract for $720. Okay. Right? Comparable neighborhood. One house is 15 years old. One house is brand new. That's what you need to look at. Don't get yourself in a situation to where you're buying top of today's market, right? Look at the value. Look at the things. Look at the value-added purchases. Sometimes you have to put an offer in once, twice, three times. Sometimes 3 times on the same house. You know what I mean? Yeah. So what I'm saying, it's not a quick purchase in a market like this. It's a patient purchase. I mean, if you think the market's going to move 5 or 6% or 8%, then look at the market what it is today and make your offer based on 5 or 6% less. Right. Doesn't mean you're going to get it. Yeah. But be patient. I definitely wouldn't be in a hurry and start making decisions in the next 2 months, but look and see where you're at, and take this journey and look at it over the course of the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're flying here from out of state and you got to buy a house in a weekend, and then all of a sudden you find out that you made a decision that you shouldn't have made. Right. The
conversation we're having right now, I have with my clients up front. So everyone's scenario is different. That's why I say it depends. If somebody's selling their house to buy a house right now, It's a sideways move. That's okay. Everyone should tell their client, yeah, that's fine. You just sold your house right now and you're about to buy another one. That's a sideways move. It's completely fine.
You're
Or
in the market and you're trading dollars.
somebody that is like, hey, I understand the market. I'm aware it can go down, but I need something for my family and stuff. I have to do this, maybe job or something. As long as I have that conversation that I didn't have back in '08 and I was unaware, I just wasn't educated. I was a rookie.
Right.
I would love to have had that conversation. But the thing is, at the end of the day, in order for markets and cycles to work, a lot of people have to go in one direction for something like I'm saying to happen. So the way I'm communicating, like the information that I see, the average person is going to be like, nah, you're just one of those doom and gloom guys, right? Very pessimistic. And they're going to look at me as the guy that's wrong. And when somebody does do that, and a lot of people think I'm an idiot and stuff, and that's fine. I like that because I'm reading that.
Right.
Because if you're in a room with 100 people and 99 of them are all agreeing
Right.
with you,
That's
with
a problem.
themselves,
That's a problem.
that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because you guys are all of the same mindset and
No,
you guys are going in the same direction.
And I've been mostly a trendsetter in my life too, as well. But I'm also in a situation to where it's like, you're talking about somebody needing shelter. They need a place to live. They're raising a family. They have a workshop. They want to hang pictures on the wall. I mean, there's a cost for doing that, right? I mean, in my opinion, right, I wouldn't go out and get the $200 bottle of wine and spend, a few $100s on dinner. I feel safer putting money into a hard asset. You know what I mean? So you just have to figure out who you are as a person and where you want to spend your money and where you want to spend your time. Right? A lot of people vacation a lot, right? So if you're going to go on 4 or 5 vacations and 30% of your income spent on vacations, rent a house. You don't get yourself in a situation where you meet with a mortgage broker and whatever you can afford to what's your income? Oh, you can afford up to a $2,942 a month payment. Well, what I do or what I suggest to people is what's comfortable for you. If $2,000 a month is comfortable, then don't go buy a house with a $2,900 mortgage. Buy a house with a $2,000 mortgage.
Right.
That's the difference. Everybody's going to the max.
Do you think that the average person lives within their means? Because remember, we can talk about what you do, which is I feel like might be the exception here. But the average person, that's why I make these like comments on how I come up with my views, is that the average person being responsible financially? Do they have financial intelligence? Are they living within their means? And I'm going to bet against that every single time because the way the system is built is not for the average person to win. It's to keep them average.
They are, but everybody's
not going to win.
Most of the people that I know and work with, it's always a want. It's not a need. So you got to go back to needs versus wants. And that's the big issue, right? Do you need the 4-bedroom house when there's 3 people living there? Of course you want the extra bedroom for your grandmother to stay in or your cousin who comes down once a year, right? But that's the issue is that everybody's trying to keep up with the Joneses and everybody's trying to. Yeah, that's the problem. So you got to look at it and you got to say, look, okay, great, I'm approved for $2,900 a month. Well, what are you comfortable with? I'm comfortable with an $1,800 a month mortgage. So then buy something that's $1,800 a month,
right? Or
wait a year and save your money. So I don't disagree with you, man. I have some commercial businesses in Central Florida, and I don't own all of the buildings that I'm in. I rent in some of the buildings because it doesn't make sense to buy.
No, right.
In certain situations where my rent is lower than the cost of ownership.
Right.
Right. So you have to look at that. What's the cost of ownership versus, it's really an individual case by case basis. But at the end of the day, we're gonna go through some hard times in the real estate market. Things are going to soften a little bit. We just got to be prepared for it. So make sure that you're forecasting a little bit.
Absolutely. And I'm okay with things resetting. The reason why I'm okay with that, and I would like that to happen, obviously, because I'm playing. The market's telling me that's the only reason why I want that. I would like that to happen is because the data. I'm trusting the data, and either I'm going to be hugely wrong or I'm going to be right, and that's the big difference. But that creates opportunity. So somebody that might be a realtor might not like that, but if they think about it, it's like, wait, you're telling me that prices could come down to some better levels? And I'm like, well, yeah, if you just look at what was happening 2016, 17, 18, 19, right? That was organic market. That's completely fine. I was reading that. I was analyzing that. But then the whole COVID pandemic stuff and then a lot of political stuff got involved in all of this. And it caused, especially in Florida, certain areas, certain states they're not doing what's going on over here. So it's definitely different case by state by state, but that pushed the market up, which to me is very artificial. That's not organic growth. That's not the economy just running natural, and that's what happened. No, that was a stimulated artificial moment that pushed things up. Which to me, if that ever happens, like you anything like that in life, you should steer clear of that. Now you're doing something based off of it's not natural. So
Right, based off of hype.
values, we've never seen values go to where they went. That's my that's one of my big problems why I say, hey, I don't think there's anything wrong with the renting. Why? Because I think the market goes down because we went well past 2008 levels, right? We went 50% higher, meaning that if a house was sold for 300,000, our last peak back in 2022 last year, that was 450. That same house, 300,000 in 08, 450 in 2022. That's a huge problem to me. So is it easy for you to buy that and get knocked down 20%? Yeah, I already think that's already happened probably to a lot of people, right? But that's not where we're at today. We've already softened a little bit, right? So here we are today, softened. So anyways, my answer is, I think, and I'll just wrap it up and you can give me your answer on this, just your end result, is that if somebody's renting right now, I don't think you're throwing away money based off of what I have came up with analysis wise. And it's only because where the market is. I think you'll win. You won't be attached to anything that could be negative. And I think the homeowner, if you break down numbers, they could be throwing away money. It looks like it, and they could lose whatever they put down as a down payment. Same thing that happened in 08. A lot of that happened. And I'm betting on that the average person isn't probably going to pay their bills, as harsh as that sounds. I think that's obvious. I think that happens a lot. So I think that's going to be a big key. And one little glitch in the system, everyone's got they might have made a little bit more money, but they're paying high insurance, they're attached to a lot of things, bought new Teslas, whatever. I think that, because I have a lot of friends that have went and done all this stuff and we talk about it, one little glitch. And I mean, I think there's reports, that tightened up
You could be a month or
credit
two away
card
from
stuff.
disaster for sure.
It can easily like that. So I'm the doom and gloom guy. John's probably going to be a little bit more reasonable than I am on this and probably say some good things, but I think we're...
I'm a location guy. I'll tell you what now. Just look at the state of the economy in the city that you're buying. Look at the places that right now, Nashville, Tennessee is on fire. Even all the ancillary cities, Brentwood, Franklin, all of those areas, those are all doing really well. Middle America, and there's other places like Ohio and some of these other states that don't have a lot of things happening. Those are the ones that never really appreciate or go up. So, in the state of Florida, we'll talk about the major cities, right? We talk about Orlando, Melbourne, Boca Raton, Jacksonville, all these major cities where there's infrastructure that's not based on tourism alone, that has, lots of economic growth. Those cities are going to be a lot better off than a lot of the other cities, right? So when you're buying, make sure you're buying location. If you're concerned about, if you're looking at different places and you're moving here from New Jersey and you're like, where should we move? And, my aunt lives in Cape Coral, but my sister lives in Vero Beach, and but I have a job opportunity in Jacksonville. I mean, look at the areas that are growing. Look at the areas that have big infrastructure, high paying jobs. Some of those areas are not going to be an issue in terms of big dips. And keep in mind, the state of Florida as well as a retirement community. It's the #1 retirement state. So we have all these things that are going for us, where it's like not only investors, but it's retirees and second homeowners and tourism and all these things that are happening. So just make sure you're in the right zone. I mean, I think that's a really important part of it. Just because it's sunny and just because there's a beach and just because there's palm trees doesn't mean it's the best place to buy a home.
Right, absolutely. I think it's a wrap on my end. Obviously, just to say one last thing. I think I'm bullish for 2023, but it's a temporary thing. That's where.
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll.
I got Tesla going under $100, and it almost already did that, but it's going to bounce, and I think it goes well below $100. Tesla.
Well, I agree with you. I'm a Tesla owner, and I'll tell you right
stocks. Elon's no longer the richest man in the world.
That's
because
okay,
of that.
man. There's a time and a place for everything, and that technology has caught up, and I think the ship has sailed on Tesla stock. So, are we talking about the other stuff too, like all the other markets and other investments, or we're sticking to just what we got right now?
We'll catch you on a crypto episode, I'm sure. A little Bitcoin episode.
So we got some crypto coming later on.
Yeah,
we've got some cool developments that are happening in the state of Florida that you guys are going to want to know about. And what's the big reason why people are loving to come here? Why are we getting California, New Jersey, New York buyers? Why are they coming here? Because of who?
I think DeSantis. I think there's a lot of political behind it. I think a lot of people like just the way it's ran.
So finally, an Italian's running the state, and it's all good now.
There you go, man. He's Italian, yeah.
Is he? I mean,
Yeah, I don't know if he's got the chain in the open. Like
Oh,
you're,
geez.
hey,
Here we go.
You didn't
Here
even.
we go. Here
Yours
we
is
go.
opening
Here we go.
unnaturally.
Stereotypical. Here we go. Here we
naturally
go.
open.
Hey,
Yeah,
you told me to be myself here. So.
yeah. That's today. Somebody could be offended by that, right? Yeah. Well, whatever.
Well, we welcome everybody from around the globe to come to the state of Florida. It's happening. It's a great place to be. And it's 85 degrees today in the middle of February. And
Call John Curry if you want to buy a house. Don't call me. Hey, renters. I'll see you guys in like 2025, 2026.
until next time, thanks for seeing us on Toast on the Coast.
I'll see you guys. Bye.